So, Sri Akal, welcome back to I'm a Brown Girl. My name's Amma. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the expectations of taking care of the elder generation and our parents in the South Asian community. The reason I want to talk about this topic in today's episode is because I've been spending a lot more time with my parents and I'm seeing them get older. I'm seeing them get slower, and it's quite uncomfortable. It's something that just happens in life. It's inevitable. It's a part of life. And I try to spend as much time I can with them, especially now that things are a lot better. It made me think about how the expectation of taking care of elders in the South Asian community is quite different to other cultures. I think the sense of responsibility is deeply rooted in culture and religious values. Personally, for me and my experience, that was never an expectation for me that I would need to take care of my parents. I always knew that I wouldn't want to put my parents in a home. And I have a soft spot for kind old people. And we all know that South Asians have big communities, and community is a big factor for helping with loneliness. And I'm not ignorant to the fact that taking care of someone comes with a lot of challenges and responsibility, especially with the emotional toll that it takes. But personally, for me, I would be happy to take care of my parents, not due to obligation, but just due to love. Having mentioned the emotional toll that caregiving takes upon an individual, it's really important to mention balancing emotions. I had to see one of my closest friends take care of an elder person, and they would often express the feelings of guilt, frustration, exhaustion, and the resentment that would build over time, especially because there was a lack of external support specifically for her. I'm glad that it's spoken about a lot more now, and I could see how my close friend was able to move forward and start to put herself first and establish boundaries, which were really important just to make sure that she was an efficient caregiver. The thing that makes me very curious is, what about the Superwoman complex or Superman complex where you feel like you have to take care of your parents? And I'm not saying I feel like that, but what about parents who've been really horrible? And there was a point where my parents were not the greatest. I'm glad that things are a lot better now. But what would it have been like then if they were older and they needed my help? Would I have helped them? I don't know. I probably would have, just because I have so much love to give in my heart. And I think naturally I have very good maternal instincts and I am a very caring person. But what if I didn't have the means, and what if I didn't want to take care of my parents? How would that affect my feelings of being desi and the expectations around the elderly always being taken care of by family? I don't know if that made any sense, but I'm just trying to say that I'm very independent. I live in my own space. I do whatever I want. So what if my parents' relationship wasn't that great and I was just like, yeah, see you, bye. I don't think I would do that, but like, I want to know if there are people out there who've had to make those difficult decisions and what they went through, and if they, in the end, had to take care of their parents and what that was like. I'm glad that it wasn't an expectation for me growing up, but I know that there are families and people I know who, especially the oldest daughters and the oldest sons, are expected to take care of their parents when they are older. I can't imagine how they feel. And if anyone is listening or watching this and they are in that position, I would love to know more about your story. So please feel free to reach out. I really believe this is a conversation that is not spoken about enough. I'm a big believer of delegating tasks. So if it means that I can hire someone, I most definitely will, because it would give you the space to breathe and not feel like you're taking on 100% of the responsibility. Another thing that isn't spoken about enough is the expectation of South Asian women who newly get married, that go into a brand new family, that are expected to take care of the elderly parents. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because they're your new family and, you'd want to take care of someone that you care about, or if they need help. I think it's more the emphasis on the expectation that is a little bit unfair, and especially if all the work is left on the woman to do. And as I've said, most South Asian families are quite big, so there is that community support, there is that family support, which is lovely and so beneficial for the elderly to thrive and feel less lonely and have that care and support that they need. This is my opinion, and I don't intend to offend anyone, but I don't agree with the elderly just being put into homes and being neglected, especially if they were good. Now, there are some horrible old people, and I can understand if they were not so nice and their children really don't want anything to do with them. I really understand that. Anytime I have conversations with my mum about taking care of her when she's older, the woman's just like, I hope I die before I ever get to that. And I'm just like, Mum, you can't say that. Like, I will do whatever it takes to take care of this woman. Like, it does not bother me. But it's really important to have those open conversations because this is real life shit and it needs to be spoken about. Caregiving is very different in the South Asian community. It's deeply rooted into the fabric of our culture. The act of caring is expressed through food, community, culture, tradition, family. And honestly, in our culture, putting your parents in a home is often looked down upon, and I understand why. And this is not to judge those who are in a home or people who have had to make the best decision for their situation. But there's a profound level of understanding and respect for immigrant/desi parents who have sacrificed a lot in their life. And personally, for me, I could never just say, oh, thanks for everything, see you, bye, off you go. That's just not how I was raised. I don't want to feel like I'm explaining myself, even though I slightly feel like I do, but just in case people don't know the expectations around caregiving in the South Asian community or, don't know how the elderly are taken care of in our community, which is usually within families and community, it's just something new to learn and a different perspective. I just couldn't imagine my parents being in a home and feeling lonely and not knowing if they were 100% happy. I feel like if I was taking care of them, I'd be 100% sure that I'm doing everything that I can. I've seen it in the villages. I've met people who are well into their 101s, 102s, and they are still quite fit and healthy. They spend a lot of time amongst community. They socialize. I can't remember where I saw this, but it's scientifically proven that the better connected you are socially as an older person, the better it is for your brain to stay active. That's why you always see random groups of old people sitting in the villages together, drinking cups of tea, conversating, chatting shit most times. But either way, it keeps the brain active. And especially with my dad, there's no way this guy's going to be eating bangers and mash and fish and chips. He's going to be wanting roti, dal and a side of achar. That was a really interesting conversation to have and think about. And if there's anything that you think I missed, please feel free to DM me. I would love to hear your stories if you're a caregiver or have experienced your parents getting older, especially if you're in your mid-20s. Like, guys, it's really uncomfortable. It's really weird. I don't like it, but it's just a part of life. And it would be nice to hear your stories. So let me know. Drop me a DM. In terms of my check-in, I feel great. I feel deeply connected to life, but so deeply connected to the point where I'm starting to realize that, not even started to realize, I'm definitely on the spectrum, but sometimes I forget. My frontal cortex is cortexing. I'm learning a lot about myself. When I go through something, even if it's a minor inconvenience, it takes me a minute to get back to my normal self. For example, I was meant to be at a meeting for 2:30, right? I had planned my day perfectly. I woke up, I meditated, all good, went for a run, I had breakfast, and this meeting was at 2:30, right? Please tell me why. I looked at the time. It was 1:30, which is the time I would have needed to leave to be at this meeting. Nothing in my brain clicked to be like, oh, you need to leave now. Like, I can't explain it until it got to 2:30 and I was like, oh my God. Like, how has this happened? Like, I genuinely was in a state of disbelief. Like, I can't explain it. Like, I'm quite a punctual person. I'm good with time. So for that to happen, it was really like a wow, like, am I not good with time? Like, what's wrong with me? And that set me back a good hour or two just to be like, I don't know, like, why did that happen? And it takes me a really long time to decompress and be like, it's fine. Don't be hard on yourself. You've called, you've emailed, you've done everything you can in your power to try and rectify the situation. Like, things like this happen. But why does it take me so long to calm down and tell myself it's okay? And then my best friend called me and she was like, Amma, you're probably on the spectrum. Like, do you forget that? And I'm like, yes, I do forget that sometimes. Life would be so much easier if something happens and I'm just like, okay, this happened. Next. My brain doesn't work like that. Like, can't move on. Like, I need to go and journal about it, or I need to have a nervous breakdown, or I need to like really feel my feelings before I can be like, okay, I've processed and now I can move on. It's just my brain is just not normal. I've started to run a lot more. I'm really enjoying it. I want to join a run club. So we'll see how that goes. The weather's beautiful. Overall, life is good. I've had a few things in my personal life just up and down, but nothing big enough for me to be like, oh my God, this is the end of the world, because I feel like I'm getting better at dealing with life. Aside from that, that's the end of today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please feel free to share with your family, your friends, all of that good stuff. I really appreciate you guys making it to the end. I hope you are taking care of yourself. I hope you're not being too hard on yourself. Enjoy the weather, take some time out for yourself, go on a solo date, self-care, all of that good stuff. And on that note, I thank you for watching. I thank you for listening. Thank you. Dhanyavad. Sri Akal. Bye.